Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Well, lovely introduction. Thank you very much for the introduction. You make me feel really important. I've come up here from London last night. It's a very long drive, a very, very arduous journey. But I'm here. Thank you. I'm here because I love doing what I do. I love sharing information. We've traveled 300 odd miles. I think it's about 300 miles from where we were to where we are here now. Because I have a passion for healing. I have a passion for people. I'm a great believer that there's no such thing as incurable diseases. Only incurable people. If people don't believe they can be healed, guess what? They can't be healed. But it's very frustrating sometimes seeing people who can be healed but don't believe they can be healed. And a lot of this is due to our conditioning and the state of mind and the way we think, the way we've been programmed to think, the way we've been conditioned to think. And one of the things that I like doing, I like challenging people. I like challenging their perspective. I like challenging what they believe. I like challenging what they think. A lot of us think that anything that tastes bad is not good for us. Those are laughing, they know. But we've been conditioned that way because of, social engineering or social conditioning, upbringing, the way we've been raised. And a lot of the time, the things that we've been indoctrinated with the most are the things that are the furthest from the truth. So one of the things I'm here to do today is to help to increase your awareness of the things that you've been told or that you've been conditioned to believe, to help you to realize what's actually really achievable. Because as I said, the mind is a powerful thing. There's nothing that is not achievable if you believe it can be done. So, without further ado, let's first off start off with who we are and what we do. But more importantly, I want to start with why we do what we do. And our vision is to promote freedom through well-being. What do I mean by freedom through well-being? We don't say freedom through health because not everyone's sick. But well-being, I'm going to give you the definition of it in a little bit, it's a very holistic experience. Well-being is not just your physical health, it's your emotional health, it's your physical health, it's your spiritual health, and your social health. That's complete well-being. And we're here to promote freedom through well-being, but people have to be able to attain some level of well-being in order for them to begin to grasp what it means to be free. Because some people have been sick for so long, they think that's the only reality. So they're imprisoned in their thinking and they believe that's the way it's going to be for the rest of their life. So we are here to promote freedom through well-being. And how we do that, our ethos is caring, honest, and empowering. We're very caring in what we do because obviously we give up our time. We're very passionate about what we do. We're passionate about people. We're passionate about healing. We're passionate about health. We're honest because we'll always tell you the truth. We're not going to try and sell you a program that you don't need. We're not going to try and charge you something that you don't need to pay just for the sake of it, because we'd rather you get results. Our reputation is built on the results that we attain for our clients. So we're always going to be honest about your situation and about what you need. Empowering happens almost organically, because once you realize that your health is in your hands, you've gone through one of our programs and you've attained a level of wellness, you would then know what you've done to achieve the level of health you've achieved, and you'll then take that forward in your life as a new set of skills, which will then leave you being empowered. And once you're empowered, there's so much more you can do, because not only will you empower yourself, you'll empower your children, you'll empower those around you. We have a mission to create 1 million health ambassadors. And by creating 1 million health ambassadors, we mean there's 1 million people that we're going to create by 2020 that will then have gone through our program, would have attained freedom through well-being, and by the nature of what you do, if you go through something that's good, you're automatically going to share. They will then share their experience and share that journey and share their story with other people, and we'll take that message globally, so we can then develop a global community of health-conscious people. A little bit about myself. They call me the juice doctor. I became the juice doctor, but I'll tell you a bit about my brief history to how I got to where I am now. I started out making juices. Actually started out making drinks. Let's be real. I started out making cocktails. Everybody has a gift. Everyone has a special talent that they're good at, but they don't sometimes realize that there's more to that talent than just something that you do for fun. But I started out making cocktails because I used to hate alcohol. I used to think it's the most nasty thing that anyone could ever drink. But everyone was doing it all around me. And as a person who used to do events, I wanted to find out why are these people drinking this nasty tasting thing to make them feel good and enjoy themselves. So I thought there must be a way to do it that could be more enjoyable. So I started mixing cocktails and mixing alcohol and brandy and rum and all these nasty tasting drinks with sweet drinks like Ribena and lemonade and orange and passion fruit. And I started creating these new drinks. And people call it cocktails. I was like, oh wow, so it's actually something that exists already. I was like, okay. So I started making cocktails. And then people started to do a lot of stuff with champagne. I started to mix champagne. That was the worst tasting drink ever. So I started to mix champagne with other drinks and making champagne cocktails. Wow. I had a gift. I didn't realize I had a gift. It was just something I could do naturally because I just enjoyed making things taste better. 5 years later, I was actually in a club because we used to organize club events. And the security kept saying to me, you don't belong here. You belong to Jesus. And I was like, why did she say that? Let me just do my thing. But I never forgot it. And every time I came to the club, she said it to me. You're not like these people here. You don't belong here. I was like, okay. And I was grown up, as we all did, have some level of religious background or upbringing. I grew up as a Methodist. And, when somebody comes out of the blue, doesn't know you, says, you don't belong here. She kept saying it. It kept taking me back to my childhood when I was going to church. And I went to church until I was 18, because obviously you have to go to church as a child. When I was 18, I'm an adult now. I can do what I want. I just stopped going to church. But what they inbred into you in church was always with me. So when that woman said, you don't belong here, you belong to Jesus, I was like, oh, wow. Anyway, it stuck with me. So it wasn't until about another 4 years on that I then realized that this gift that I had for making drinks wasn't meant for me to be getting people to feel inebriated in a club. It was something I was meant to do to help people to feel not inebriated, to be elevated in their health, in their life. So I started making juices. I started making juices with fresh fruits and vegetables, and people started to get well. They said, Aaron, make me a juice. Someone got sick, I'd make them a juice, they'd get well. People that are cold or their bowels are blocked up, I'd make them a juice. I'd mix some beetroot, some spinach, some carrots, some kale. I'd put some mango. They'd drink it, their bowels would open up like never before. They were shocked. I was shocked. I didn't realize that this gift I had was developing into something that was of substance. So I started a business and I called it Go Juice Detox. Is this too loud? Can anybody hear me when I speak like this? Can you hear me now? I need it, man. Okay. So I started a business, Go Juice Detox. That's the first business we started. In fact, I'll use this. Okay. So that was me winning an award, 2013. That was a TV documentary we did, Channel 4, Supersized Kids, viewed by about 3 million people. Is this too loud now? Is it too loud? It's fine? Is it too loud? Is it okay? All right, all those who think it's too loud say yes. All those who think it's okay say no. I've got to do that again. All those who think it's too loud, put your left hand up. All those who think it's okay, put your right hand up. Oh my gosh, you don't need to come forward. Put it back on the stand. Like that. Like that? Okay, fine. So that was us at the NatWest building in London. That was me having some fun in Ghana, because it's all about work. You've got to have some time to play as well. Does anybody know who this guy is? Richard Branson. That's my mentor's mentor. So my mentor is Nathaniel Pete, and he's mentored by Richard Branson. So I'm waiting for my chance to get a time to go out to Necker Island and spend some time with the big man himself. That's our first brand that we produced in 2013, Go Juice Detox. We started out making juices. That's the juices that we produced, our first juice brand. We've now moved on since then, and we've now got 116 products that we manufacture. This is our association with Crystal Palace. We're in association with Crystal Palace Football Club. If you go to the stadium in Crystal Palace, you'll see our brand all around the siding. And there's about 111 screens. We're on all the 111 screens in the stadium. This is a project that we support in Rwanda, again, because we believe greatly in empowering people. We support a project in Rwanda called the Change Life Project. The Change Life Project is about women who are victims of genocide, and as a result of the genocide, they've now got no one to cater for them, they have to fend for themselves, they've lost their children, their husbands, they're basically on their own. So we support a project in Rwanda called the Change Life Project. We provide them with sewing machines, we provide them with equipment, so that these women can be empowered to be able to provide for themselves. So a lot of what we do, a percentage of it goes back to supporting that project. Again, that's our mission. Our mission is to create 1 million health ambassadors, so we can have 1 million people around the world sharing their story, sharing their journey, and empowering other people to then take their health into their hands. Okay, so the company that we've now formed, as a result of the juices, we've gone through the juices, we've made the juices, we've set a foundation, we've now developed a business out of that. We've now taken it to the next level. We've now developed 116 products. In order for us to do that, we had to employ some technology. The technology we've employed, it really helps to get a lot more of a deeper insight into what's happening in the body. The technology we use is called, one of them is the Zyto technology. And why we started a company called My Healthcare is because Go Juice Detox was how we started out. And it became quite restrictive because everybody saw the name Go Juice Detox and they assumed that all we did was juice. We used to do juices, we used to make juices as part of the program, but what we found is that when we were making the juices as part of the program, people became dependent upon us making juices. When the program came to an end and we were no longer providing them with juices, guess what happened? Their health went right back to where it was. Because we did what do you call it? We brought them bad. We started off doing something that we couldn't sustain. And when people finished their program, they said, can't you keep making the juices? It was like, well, you can't afford for us to keep making juices. So we then had to change things around to make the client make the juices. We provide the products and they provide the juices. We provide them with the recipes. We know what works, we know what's worked in the past, we know what's going to be effective. We provide them with the recipes and they make the juices. Why do we make them make the juices? So when they finish the program, when they finish making the lifestyle changes, they've developed enough good habits to superimpose the bad habits that they'd formed that had got them unwell in the first place, that when the program finishes, they're able to sustain and maintain the good health they've achieved. Juicing now becomes second nature to them because they'd have seen, as well as the products they were taking, the juices they were making was helping sustain their health greatly. Weight loss happens almost as a side effect. When you said you went on a website and you saw a lot of weight loss, because when we embark people on our program, average person loses about a stone within the first 3 weeks without trying, just because the body's working back to order. So we've developed a program designed to put your health in your hands. So we developed the company, well the brand, we actually developed the brand called My Healthcare. My Healthcare is a brand of Go Juice Detox, which is about empowering you, it becomes your health, and putting your health back in your hands. How do we do that? Aha. We started off by, as I said, we like to challenge people of where they're at. And the first thing we do is we like to help people to understand what is the true definition of disease. I should have asked you before I put this slide on. But disease, a lot of people have an interesting definition of disease. And there's only one true definition, and that's the one that's behind me. But the foundation and the basis of the definition of disease is the first word. It's missing, but it doesn't matter. It says disorder. The definition of disease, the first word is disorder. It's a disorder of function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific symptoms or that affects a specific location and is not simply a direct result of physical injury. I highlighted a few words there. Disorder, function, symptoms, and what it's not. Now, the first word in that is disorder. And further down, it says symptoms. But when you go to the doctors, or the hospitals, or the GPs, the first thing they ask you are, what are your symptoms? True? What are you experiencing? And based on your symptoms, they're going to prescribe you with some form of medication. That's going to help treat what? The symptoms. Now, is that going to bring you any closer to restoring order to the disorder? No. Why? Because it's only going to suppress the symptoms. So you're not going to experience the symptoms anymore, so you think that you're okay. But in the meantime, the disorder gets worse. Because it's now in a state of disorder. When things go from disorder, the next stage from disorder is chaos. So externally, we may look like we're okay, we're healthy, we're well. But internally, there's disorder and chaos. And sometimes that disorder or chaos may manifest itself as skin disease, eczema, asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, Crohn's, multiple sclerosis, you name it. They're all the basis of disorder. So we, at My Healthcare, what we do, we like to look at what is the disorder? What has gone wrong? This is how we put your health back in your hands. In order for us to put health in your health in your hands, we first have to help you to understand what is gone wrong, what is not working, what is not functioning, what is malfunctioning in your body. We don't diagnose because we're not doctors. We're nutritional therapists. We use the information that your body provides to show us where the disorders are in the body. This is why we use the technology. This is why we use the scans. Because all the scan is looking for disorders. So oftentimes you might get somebody who comes with a chronic pain in their shoulder. Now the chronic pain in the shoulder could be any number of things, but a lot of times it's linked to something a little bit deeper. So you go to the doctor, or you go to your chemist or your pharmacist, and you say, I've got a pain in my shoulder, what can you give me? And they'll give you deep heat, or they'll give you some kind of remedy that's going to help to relieve the symptom or relieve the pain in your shoulder. But when we put you on a scan, the scan will scan all your organs. It will show all your functions, all the correct functions and all the incorrect functions. And it will establish, first of all, establish order. What is the level of order? And then it will check your body against every organ, against your level of order, to see how far out of range or how far out of line or how far out of order each organ is. And then from that analysis or conversation or biological survey, it will then produce a detailed report. And that report will show us all the things that are out of line or out of range in your body. So when you come and you say, one of my main things that I'm really concerned about is my shoulder, 9 times out of 10, we're going to see it's your liver, but let's let your body tell us. So the body will show the top stressor, for example, will be a liver problem or a fatty liver. That means there's too many toxins in the liver because it's got too much fat that the body is trying to eliminate, or there's too many toxins in the blood that the liver is trying to extract from the blood, and it's now overloaded itself, so now it's become fatty. As a result of that, a direct symptom of liver pain or liver disorder is shoulder pain. It will manifest itself in your shoulder. So we will then put you on a program to start working on supporting your liver, to detox your liver. And as a result of that, your metabolism increases. Your body's ability to break down fat increases. Your weight starts to drop off without even trying. But also, the main thing you came for, your shoulder pain, that just disappears. Because that was never the problem anyway. That was just a symptom. That was just where it manifested. That was a symptom that was, it says it produces specific symptoms that affects a specific location and is not a direct result of any physical injury. So you've got a pain in your shoulder, no one's banged your shoulder, but you've got a pain in your shoulder. So as a result of us cleansing your liver, it will get rid of any pains in your shoulder. So it's just to give you an example of what we do and how we work. Is it working? Let's go to sleep. Okay, that's all right. Doesn't matter really. Was it? So let's quickly move on to health. What is health? I should have asked you that question before I put the slide up again. Anyway, health. The World Health Organization definition of health is, I'm sure it's a lot different to what you may perceive as health. And it's quite interesting that they've got this, the WHO has got this very detailed and very wide definition of health. People think health is the opposite of sickness, so free from disease. And they think, because I'm not got any disease or any known diagnosed diseases, they think, well, I must be healthy. In actual fact, it couldn't be further wrong. It says health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So a lot of people may be physically well, but are you mentally well? Are you spiritually well? The amount of people that we see that come to us who've got physical problems. But again, just like with the physical disease or the physical disorder, the physical pain, the physical disease is not the result of a physical disorder. A good 60 to 65% of the clients that we see, their physical ailment or disorder is actually linked to an emotional problem. How many people know that emotions have an effect on your physical health? Oh, wow. This side of the room. I need to speak to you guys. So, your emotions, the emotions, my goodness. If people realize how much of an impact the emotions has on your health, you'd be shocked. Anytime we see a client that has cancer, for example, the first thing we always go to look for is the emotions. We do an emotional scan because we need to know what's going on in your body, what condition have you been able to sustain for this amount of time that's allowed this disease to manifest, that your body has now started to form tumors. And an often scenario that we see, what do you think the main emotional scenario we see with cancer? Stress? Any others? Depression? Any others? Anger? Yep. Any others? Who? Anxiety? Yep. Any others? Self-worth, big one. Any others? Entanglement? Yep. Any others? Decline in health. I'm looking for one big emotion that people probably take for granted. Which one? That's the one. This side, they know it. I'm telling you, they got it on this side. Unforgiveness. We see unforgiveness so so many times as a top stressor. Any Christians in the house? Okay, I'm gonna give you a quick scenario. In the Bible, it talks about whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. As your childhood, you are now bonded to that offense. And the residual effect of that emotion or that unresolved emotion a lot of the time ends up in very, very, very serious critical diseases because you've held on to this negative emotional experience and it's now manifesting in your body. And some of the signs that you may experience that you're holding on to some old hurts. And I went through this myself. Unforgiveness is constipation. A lot of times people will have constipation and they think it's to do with their food or to do with what you're eating or the bread or not drinking enough water. It's deeper than that. I'm not saying all the time, but in quite a few cases. If you hold on to an emotion or an emotional hurt or an emotional pain that you've not addressed, maybe somebody bullied you in school, or maybe, I don't know, your family or your siblings insulted you or hurt you, or even your parents have had a, profound effect on your sense of yourself. And the fact you've held that unforgiveness for many years, you've said unknowingly to yourself, I'm not letting go of that past hurt. Especially if they haven't apologized, they haven't acknowledged it, they haven't, made it right. You're gonna hold on to that past hurt. Subconsciously, your body is receiving a message saying, we must not let go of waste. Because this is now waste, this is now a past experience that you no longer have a use for. But emotionally, you've said, I'm not gonna forgive them. So by you not forgive them, you're saying, I wanna hold on to that feeling. They upset me, they made me feel bad, I'm not forgiving them. You know when they say, I'll never forgive them. Who's ever said that? There you go, this side. And just by you saying you'll never forgive them, that means you've blocked up a part of your life experience that you could never gonna get now because you've locked it off. So just by holding on to that negative emotion, indirectly you said to your body, do not let go of certain past waste. So when your body has the waste that is meant to let out, it's not gonna let it out. I'll give you another example. There's a psychotherapist. She used to work with clients after they've been to the doctors, they've been to the hospitals, they've tried everything to try and understand their ailment. They couldn't find any problem, they couldn't find any cure. One of them said she had a problem with her arm. The right arm just stopped working. All the doctors tried every kind of test, they couldn't find why this right arm wasn't working. She went to the psychotherapist, and the psychotherapist was just sitting down with her, talking with her, and going through just some general conversation. And one of the things that she noticed in the conversation, she kept saying, I'll give my right arm to have one of those. I'll give my right arm to have one of those. And she said, stop there. She goes, how often do you say that? She goes, say what? I'll give my right arm. See where this is going, right? Her right arm stopped working. The body thought she didn't want the right arm. Similar situation, and these are serious cases, true cases. Similar situation, a lady, she had problems with her ears. Her ears just stopped working. No test could find anything wrong. Every type of test, every type of scan, nothing was uncovering what the issue was behind this ears not working. Psychotherapist sat down with her. Don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You know they say words have power. People have to be careful what they say. You don't realize that you're cursing yourself every day. One of the things that we challenge people on our program is we ask them, how you doing? Not bad. If you start to say you're not bad, that means you're pronouncing bad as the norm. You're telling your body, bad, I normally feel bad. Even if you wake up in the morning, feeling good, having health, I'm not bad. Your body's thinking, so what do you really think of us? If you say that bad is the norm, you're telling your body that your body's normally bad. So if you're sick, how are you ever going to get healthy if you only ever speak negatively of your body? But people don't realize that the amount of things they curse themselves with just what they say on a daily basis without realizing. So, back to the emotions. Holding on to unforgiveness, it blocks up your bowels. So I had to go through a process of, if I'm going to be helping people to deal with forgiveness, I've got to deal with my own unforgiveness. So I had some issues with some unforgiveness from childhood stuff, and a lot of it was childhood. So I had to really dig deep to find where these past hurts are coming from, and they were buried deep down inside, because I had to go on the toilet, and I'd be there for like half an hour every day. They just knew. Everyone's in the toilet, I'll forget it. It's not coming out for at least half an hour. And that was the norm, growing up. But only in the last 5 years, through going through this process of learning about the power of forgiveness and unforgiveness, that I've been able to address and overcome and overturn that problem. And we now share that with our clients that come in front of us having the same problem and never knowing it. So emotions is a big part of what we do in terms of helping people to have full knowledge and feeling empowered about their health. Just recognizing the emotional connection. So many things that happen from your childhood. So, back to the definition of wellness. So it's physical, mental, social, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So we really want, one of the things that we want to share today, and the message that I'm really coming to impart with you today, is about self-love. So all the things that we do, they're linked to self-love. But today's message in particular is about self-love. Because when you love yourself, you don't need anybody else to love you. It sounds crazy, right? We're in a church. I have to use a scriptural reference. One of the disciples, or not one disciple, one of the Pharisees, I think, came to Jesus and asked him, he said, what is the most important of all the 669 laws that Moses brought? He said, what's the most important one? And he said to him, the first one he said is, love the Lord with all your heart and all your being and all your soul. And he said, but he gave him two answers. He asked him one question, but he gave him two answers. The second one was, what is it? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And he said, these two are the greatest and they're more important than all the other laws and all the other prophets gone before. He said, these two laws, love the Lord thy God and love your neighbor as you love yourself, are more important than any of the other ones. Now, how did you know that 2,000 years ago, that 2,000 years later, the biggest problem that people are going to have is the lack of self-love? Do you know how many things people do to themselves because of lack of love? Do you know how many people are suffering with lack of self-love? If I ask this room, who's suffering with lack of self-love? Who's going to put their hand up? Nobody. Absolutely. Because no one's going to admit that they don't love themselves. But people that even have a partner or don't have a partner, let's put it another way. Who in here is single? I'm the only one? Not really. Who in here is single? Who in here is single? Come on, be honest. Okay. Single. It's a very important question. Because when you're single, that is the time, it's the most important time. Because everything starts as with one. Before you came two, you have to start as one. Even in the beginning, you started as one. So being single is the best and only time you get to learn the importance of loving yourself. Because if you go into a relationship with somebody else and you're looking for the other person to come and love you, and you don't love yourself, and the survey said, What was that from again? What was that from again? Was that Family Fortunes? Love that program. If you don't love yourself and you want someone to come and love you, this is why it's so important to love yourself. It's so important. If you don't love yourself and you're looking for somebody else to come in and love you and make you feel whole and feel complete, that means your whole life depends on that person. Because as soon as that person leaves you, guess what? You're going to just pop down. Because there was nothing there. You had no love for yourself before they came. So as soon as they leave, you're gone too. you're finished. But when you love yourself, you don't need somebody else to come in to make you feel valued, feel important. You already love yourself. You already have value in yourself. So when you love yourself so much, you just want to share that love with somebody else. It's different from you needing somebody else to love you to make you feel loved. So self-love is such a key element, especially when you're single, to develop that power and the confidence that comes with self-love. Some people call it arrogant. We call it confident. Because you don't care what other people think, you just care what you think. That's what's most important, more than other people. So the reason why self-love is a message that we're leaving today to do with health, because a lot of the problems that we see are because of the lack of self-love. Because people don't have enough love for themselves, they do all these things to compensate. They eat, they snack, they binge, they drink, they rave, party. All kind of things to try and compensate for that lack of self-love. They're trying to fill that void that they don't have. So when we embark you on a program, one of the things we always do is look at everything in your health profile that is linked to your love profile or your self-love profile. And oftentimes we see things that are linked to your childhood. When we do the affirmations, for example, one of the things that comes up a lot is I deserve. I deserve to have the best. I deserve to have love, or I deserve to receive love. And when we see I deserve, that means you have an issue with your self-worth. And where people develop issues with self-worth, where do you think people develop issues with self-worth from? Where? Not homework. From where?
When you're told that you're no good.
When you're told you're no good. Absolutely. Anywhere else? The biggest development of self-worth, or the biggest lack of self-worth, it comes from your childhood experience. When we see that people have a lack of self-worth, it's because there's been a gap, there's been a void in their formative years. 9 times out of 10, if it's girls, it's from their father. If it's boys, it's from their mother. They haven't received enough love, or they haven't received enough value. If you had a relationship with your father, and your father didn't make you feel as a girl like a princess, or you had other siblings that you feel that your father may have loved them more than he loved you, these things are going to affect your self-worth. They're going to affect your level of self-value, how important you feel. And as you grow up, you're always looking for something else to compensate for that lack, or somebody else to compensate for that lack. And we see it a lot in the consultations. So where people have problems with their father, either an absent father or a father that was there that wasn't really loving, because some people have some, especially Caribbean fathers, they're very, hard. They don't always know how to show love. So even people out here today, as parents, it's important that, you show love to your children, because if you don't show love to your children, how the children interprets that is that they feel they're not worthy of love. They don't look at it as like you don't know how to love. They look at it, well, it must be my fault. Maybe I don't deserve love. Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not deserving of love. So when people have issues with self-worth or self-value, it's because of childhood experiences. And people carry these childhood experiences into their adult life, and it informs a lot of their decisions. And if you don't feel you're worthy or valued, you try and compensate for that value with something else. And that may be the vodka, or the gin, or the drugs, or the cigarettes, or whatever it may be. Well, I saw a friend the other day, and I said to her, do you not love yourself? I said, of course I love myself. I said, so why are you smoking then? She goes, well, 'cause that's what I do. I said, well, you don't love your lungs then, because if you love your lungs, you wouldn't smoke. So these are classic examples of lack of self-love. If you love yourself, you wouldn't put things in your body that are detrimental and damaging to your body. But because of that lack of self-love, you want to justify it. You will easily justify it by saying it will make me feel good. So obviously there's a void in there somewhere. You're not feeling good within yourself or about yourself to some degree. Am I making sense here? So the message today that we're leaving with you is about self-love. Everything we do is about empowering people with how they can develop self-love. But before you can develop self-love, you have to first understand where self-love comes from. And then you look at how do you manifest self-love. Anything that you do that's against your body is going to be something that's a self-destructive action. And if you love something, you would never do anything to destroy it. True? So the same way you love your neighbor or love your friend or love your partner is the way you should love yourself. But the way you're supposed to do it is supposed to love yourself first. That's key. So what do we use to help people to come to this realization? We use a number of tools. The first tool is the balance. This is one of the technologies. I don't like putting presentations together because I just like to flow with where I'm at. But we'll talk about the balance real quick because that's one of the technologies we use. The balance gives you a balanced perspective on your health and where you are and where you need to be. So it starts off by showing all the things that have gone wrong, and then it shows you all the things you need to put them right. And then we combine that together in a program and help you to start to take the steps, baby steps, step by step, to bring your body back into balance. The other machine we use is the Elite. The Elite is a powerful, powerful, powerful piece of equipment. Why do we love this equipment? Because the level of disorders that it reveals. People come with all manner of problems that they've been to the doctors, they've been to the specialists, they've been to Harley Street, they've been to this street, they've been to that street, they've been to every street, trying to find a solution. Not being able to find one. We put them on the Elite. The Elite, it will scan the whole body to find out all the stressors. And when it lists the stressors, it will then allow us to look into more depth into each individual area. So if you come in, for example, and you have, like a client came the other day, she had a problem with her eyes. But she didn't want to tell me that her problem was with her eyes because people are skeptical. They think, how's this technology going to tell me all about my life through my hand? So we asked her what her main challenge was, and she didn't want to say. I said, fair enough, we'll get to it. So we put her on the Elite. We did a scan where we asked the body what it needs, what solutions it needs, and from the solutions, it would then give us a clear indication as to what it's trying to address. The first product that came up for her was something for her eyes. So I said, oh, what's going on with your eyes? She looked at her friend and she smiled. She's like, uh-oh, I've been rumbled. So it shows you exactly where the problems are and what you need, and tells your body actually says what it needs to bring it back into balance, because the body is very intelligent. It knows exactly what it needs. And then we looked up, bacteria came up. So we looked up the bacteria. When the bacteria comes up, we can look up exactly which bacteria it is, and we can find out exactly what bacteria and what that bacteria does. And through having this information, it then empowered us to be able to see exactly, what was causing the problem, where the problem was. We knew exactly what to give her. We put her on a program, we cleansed her gut, we cleansed her body, we cleansed her blood. And we called her about 3 days later and she said, I don't know if this is me just imagining this or whatever, but she said, I can't understand how for the last 2 years, every day I've had to put drops in my eyes. But since the second or third day of her taking the detox, she said that she's not had to put drops in her eyes. Oftentimes people don't believe how quickly the body can heal. That's why we say we don't heal anything. We just create an environment and the body heals itself. So effectively what we do is that we use science to identify, which is a technology, and we use nature. We use nature to restore. Nature in terms of nature's finest products. Everything we use is plant-based. We don't use anything that's chemical-based. All our products are 100% natural. One of the things we always start with is our oxyflush, colon cleanse. Because life and death begins where? Where? In the gut. Absolutely. In fact, it begins a bit earlier than that. It begins on the kitchen table. before you even get to the gut. But life and death begins in the gut. The amount of people that we see that have all kind of chronic debilitating diseases, but the foundation is always rooted in some level of blockage. And this is where the ignorance or the lack of knowledge comes in. Because we always ask people, what are your bowel movements like? And they say, my bowel movements are good. And we ask them, what is a good bowel movement? See, if you don't know what health is, if you don't know what the reference point is, the base mark is, if you don't know what order looks like, you won't know what disorder looks like. You won't know how far away from the norm your body is actually operating. And bowel movements is a very key indicator. Who knows how many bowel movements you should have a day? 3? 3? 3, yeah? Okay. Why 3? Is that of interest? Every time you eat? Okay, that's a good analogy. Okay, let's use that then. So every time you eat, 3 meals in, 3 meals out, yeah? So if people have 3 meals in, let's say for example, somebody comes to us, a lot of people have blockage, they might have, I don't know, 1 bowel movement every 2 days. So that straight away, we do the maths, we say, right, that's 6 meals in, 3 today, 3 the day before, and 1 out. That's 5 meals unaccounted for. So where have they gone? What have they been doing? What have they been up to? Who suffers with back pain? Okay. You guys don't have back pain? Shoulder pain. Okay. People that suffer with back pain, shoulder pain, we know where shoulder pain starts from now, right? Yes? It starts from here, deeper in. So a lot of people with back pain, and I've tried it myself. Everything that we go through, I like to go through it myself. Everything I see my clients go through, I have to really, get muddy and get dirty and go through what they go through. I have to sometimes eat processed food just to see if I can experience what they experience. So when we implement the protocol to cleanse, I'll put myself through the same cleanse that they go through, and I get the same results that we know that they're going to have every single time. And I found that when people have a clogged up colon or processed food that's not allowed to leave the system, it's not been evacuated, like you've had 3 meals in and 1's come out, and you had another 3 the next day and none came out. That food that's blocked up in your colon, that waste that hasn't been eliminated, those 5 meals that haven't come out, they're going to cause a high level of acidity in your body. And when you have a high level of acidity, the first thing you're going to feel from that is what? Pain. Pain. And where's the pain going to manifest oftentimes first? Stomach? Anywhere else? In your back. Because the body's like a very good packer. It likes to pack things, but it has to keep things in order to keep you going. So whenever it receives something that it can't process and it can't eliminate, it's got to find somewhere to put it. You've got a lot of fatty tissue around here, just at the back, where there's a lot of pockets, there's a lot of space there, lots of muscle, lots of tissue. Now the body will automatically, if it realizes that it's got food that it hasn't been able to eliminate, they call it through the what passage? The back passage. If there's food that's not been able to be eliminated through the back passage, it's got to store it somewhere. And where does it store it? In the back. And it builds up a lot of acidity. And as a result of that acidity, you're going to get a lot of pain. So the first thing we always start with is cleansing the colon. So once we start to cleanse your colon, the first thing you notice is that your back pain reduces. Because all your pains are linked to what's happening in your colon. Everything starts in the colon. As we said, life and death starts in the colon. Now, when people start with back pain, the first thing they're going to want to do is take a pill or take a painkiller, right? Is it Nurofen, diclofenac? One of these various painkillers have got different strengths. And when you take those painkillers, what's that going to do? It's not going to deal with the actual disorder, because it's not going to move your food through. It's just going to try and suppress the symptom. It's going to try and suppress the signal from your brain that's telling you that something is wrong. But what it does, invariably, is going to cause even more acid. So you have even more pain, because in the meantime, the thing that's actually causing the pain, which is the processed food, is still coming in, and it's not coming out. So we always look at the colon as the first place, the first point of call to start with any detox program. And that's going to quickly lead us into our program and how we start to bring about, we call it, some people call it alternative, we call it the actual original healing. We've introduced a healing methodology called the Hearn Protocol. This is our own healing methodology that we've tried and tested and proven over the last 5 to 7 years, 6 to 7 years. H is for hydration. E is for elimination. R is for rest. And N is for nutrition. And this is where you're going to get the most of your self-loving tools from today. H for hydration. How many liters of water should we drink a day? How many? 8. Who said 8? I like that girl. 8 is a good number. 2? 1 liter? 2 to 3? Any advance? 1? 5? 5 liters. How much as you can? Is that what you said? That's a good answer. As much as you can. Now, all the answers that you said are all correct in different situations. If you sit at home or you sit at a desk and you talk to nobody all day, 1 liter will just about get you through. Whoever said 1 liter? Okay. So if you talk to nobody, no mobile phones, no communication, no good morning, you live alone, no neighbors, 1 liter. 1 liter will suffice. The other extreme is 8 liters, because if you've got a dirty pot and you want to wash, imagine trying to wash a dirty pot. Have you ever washed a dirty pot with no water? Right, it's not possible. Because everybody that's got sickness has got a dirty pot inside them. Because they've got a lot of waste that's backed up, that can't come out, that's not moving, that's not coming through their system, and it's backing up and it's causing a lot of pain, a lot of disorder. So the first thing you're going to need is water. People that drink 1 liter, and there's a myth, you know, talking about 8 cups for women and 10 cups for a man. That's not possible because everybody has a different size. So you can't give a 6'4" and a 5'2" person the same amount of water. It's not going to suffice. So when they give these generalizations on Google and people read them and think, yep, that's what it says, I read that somewhere, and they follow it, it's a misconception. Because if you talk a lot, maybe I'm talking. You're using water. If you I had a person call into a show, I did a radio show, and a person called in, and he said he was having a problem with salt. Salt was coming out everywhere. He kept tasting salt in his mouth. And he called in, he was asking, you know, what can I do with this salt? He said, he's tried this, he's tried that. I said, have you drank water? He said, yeah, I drink water. I drink like 2-3 liters every day. I said, okay. Have you tried doubling that? And he said, no, listen, I drink water, I juice, I do this, I do that. I said, if you're tasting salt, then you've got some level of dehydration. He said, no, but I drink. I said, okay. Now that's a very interesting situation because he thinks he's doing all the right things. But because he doesn't have enough knowledge about the hydration requirements of the body, he hasn't compensated for the amount of water he's using every day. So we're going through this analysis, conversation on the telephone, and we're asking a series of questions, and he kept saying how much water he's drinking, how he's done everything that he should do, but he still can't get rid of this taste of salt in his mouth. So I said, you definitely have a problem with dehydration. Or you're taking a lot of salt. He said, no, I don't put salt in any of my food. I don't hardly ever use salt. I said, okay. What you do, because I know this is to double the amount of water you drink and then add another liter on top of that. So if you drink 3 liters a day, do 6 and then add 1 more. Just for 5 days. I said, by the way, what do you do for a living? I'm a teacher. If you're a teacher, what are you doing all day? What do you use to talk? What does the mouth consist of? Saliva. What a lot of people don't understand about water is that your water intake should match to a minimum your water usage. You don't just drink water for the sake of it. You've got to drink based on your usage, because your body is 70% water. So it requires water for every single function. Every single function requires water. To move nutrients into the cells, it requires water. To remove waste out of the cells, it requires water. To remove waste through your bowels, it requires water. If you're talking, you need water for saliva, you're going to lose water. If you're exercising, you're sweating, you're going to lose even more water. At night, your lungs are 84% water, so they use a lot of water to keep you breathing overnight. Do you know, how many people in the room feel thirsty at night? Why do you feel thirsty at night? Because what? You haven't drunk enough water. Because your body's dehydrated, and it knows it's going to need a lot of water to perform its overnight maintenance of your body and to keep you breathing, to keep your lungs working overnight. It requires water. So if 70% of your body is water, 84% of your lungs is water, 92% of your blood is water, 86% of your muscles are water. That's a high percentage of water requirement in the body. You said, and I can't believe it, I didn't spend any money, I just increased my water and I don't taste the salt anymore. Now he'd had that problem for years. He'd been all over different doctors trying to solve a problem that was as simple as just increasing his water. So the first thing we do in our healing methodology is increase your hydration. We get you to drink at least 5 litres of water a day. A very good question. Whatever water you drink is the water that you need. Once you get in the habit of drinking water, then you can start looking about the different types of water. But people sometimes confuse themselves and say, no, I want to drink distilled water or alkaline water or this water or that water. Any water you drink is good for hydration at the stage where you are. As you get into the habit of drinking water and start seeing the benefits, then you can start getting into the more advanced type of waters and the different types of water, because these water cost money. But you're only going to buy these waters if you see the benefits of them. But we don't want people to get into the conundrum of thinking, oh, I haven't got the best water, so I'm not going to drink that water because that water's bad for me. So whatever water you have access to is the best water. Quickly. Nothing's good for you. I'm being honest, nothing is good for us. There's nothing out that's good for us. Unless we grow it ourselves, unless we get it out of the ground ourselves, nothing is good for us. There you go. That's rainwater. It's natural water. Yeah, but you got to take a flight over there. And bring it back. Absolutely. So it's a good question, because nothing is good for us. And we can't stop bad things from going into our body. We're never going to stop it, because as you step out into the air, you're going to breathe toxins into your body. There's no way you can escape, the inevitable. Something's going to kill you one way or the other. What you can do is prevent the effects of these things in your body. Because even if you eat the most healthy diet, you drink the most clean water, there's still going to be some additives in there that are not good for you. Your job as the host is to learn, what can I do to get the impurities that my body doesn't need out of my body? That's what's more important. Because no matter how well you try to eat, you're not going to avoid toxins. The key to longevity in this environment, unless you've got access to an allotment or a place where you can grow your own food, is learning the methods, the methodologies of how can I detoxify my body. I detoxify my body every day, every single day, every night. I take a teaspoon of the Oxyflush, that's our colon cleanse. I mix it with the juice of half a lemon. I stir it with 500 ml of water, and I drink it. And it goes into the colon, and it breaks down all the fecal matter, all the waste that's sitting around in your colon, and it turns into liquid. Very natural product, no laxative, no chemicals, no cramping. And it pulls down the water, and you have a nice, soft, watery movement in the morning. And when I get up in the morning, I have about 2 movements within 5 minutes of getting up. And I'll tell you about order of that in a minute. But when I do that, my goodness, jeez. The way I feel for the day, I'm like, I'm ready now. You know, you had a good bowel movement, you had a good dump. You're ready for the day. So I look forward to, you know, to the dump in the morning. I look forward to it because I know that anything that's inside that shouldn't be there, it's come out. But we see a lot of people, especially women, and they say, and I know there's women in there that are going to say it too, we don't have a bowel movement in the morning, that's number one. And the time they do have a bowel movement, they're at work. Sorry, the time they have the urge for the bowel movement, they're at work. But they say, I'm not doing no poo in no public place. Who did we see today? We saw somebody today, where is she? And this is why it's important to recognize your habits and what you do and the effects it has on your children. That mindset is a disease-creating mindset because waste is designed to come out of your body. The body works to order when it can get rid of all waste and all elimination. What time did the dustmen come to pick up your waste? In the morning. Did they see them come at night? You ever see them come in the afternoon? Never. Order. The dustmen come first thing in the morning and they block the road. Before you do anything, you've got to get rid of the waste, ready to receive the nutrients for the day. That's the body working to order. When you have those people that get up in the morning and they don't have a bowel movement, you meet them at the bus stop. They're the most moany people. You see them on the tube. They're the most moany, grumpy people. They call it crappy attitude. We call it full of crap. People just behave negatively when they need a good dump. Because your body's literally full of toxins. It affects the way you think. It affects your mood. You need to start the day with a good bowel movement. If you're not having a bowel movement, you're having problems. Go ahead, Pat. Thank you. So, we always start with cleansing the colon, cleansing the bowel. It's so key. So important. When your body's working to order, two things. I'm going to give you a quick scenario. Everybody's, I don't know, do they have Metro Underground here in Leeds? Okay. In London, they have the Metro, the Underground. When a tube pulls into the platform, what's the first thing the door should do? Open, right? Because it needs to let the passengers off and let the passengers on. When your body wakes up in the morning, what's the first thing you should do? Open your bowels. Why do you do that? The reason why you have to open your bowels first thing in the morning, this is order. Overnight, I'll take it back a stage. Order, yeah? We're talking about order. The repairman for the body turns up at 9 o'clock with his bag of tricks, ready to start repairing the body. He releases a hormone into the body through the brain called serotonin. This is the body's natural anesthetic. Everything you see on the operating table, everything you see a doctor do or an anesthetist do, the body does it naturally. The body is a state-of-the-art healing machine. 9 o'clock, the repairman turns up with his box of tools to repair the body. He releases the hormone, the anesthetic, that shuts the body down. He shuts the body down, he wants to put the body to sleep so he can operate on the body and rejuvenate and regenerate the body to let you be well and ready for the next day. 10 o'clock, you start nodding off. Naturally, you start nodding off because that's the body being shut down, ready for sleep. If you don't respond to that, you get a second wind at about 11 and you can go until about 1. And then at 1 o'clock, your eyes will start burning, your eyes start getting red because your body's telling you it's time to sleep. The longer you leave it, the more of your essential repair you've missed out on. So 10 o'clock, it wants to start working on your brain, then your nose, your eyes, your throat, and so on, all the way down. About 3 o'clock, it gets to your kidney. Who in here wakes up in the night to go to the toilet? What time do you wake up roughly? About 3. Why are you waking up at 3 o'clock? Because your kidneys. Why is that? Because your bladder is weak. I'll come back to that in a second. It puts the glue in your eyes. It creates its own natural glue to keep your eyes closed. So you stay with your eyes shut throughout the whole of the operation. When it's finished its rejuvenation, It will remove the glue and your eyes will fall open. 7 o'clock, that means you're ready to start the day. If you wake up in the morning and you've got matter in your eyes, your body says it hasn't finished healing you. It hasn't finished repairing you. You've not slept enough or you've gone to bed too late. When your eyes wake up in the morning, your eyes open, the brain now switches on because you're ready to step onto the floor to now engage your muscles. The brain knows, right, she's awake, he's awake. During that process overnight, it's removed all the waste out of the body and put it in the bowels. It's removed all the waste out of the blood and it's put it in the bladder. Soon as you open your eyes in the morning, the bowels should do what? Open. Within 5 minutes of you waking up, your bladder should automatically open. That's order. If you wake up in the morning and you have to have a coffee, or you have to have some milk, or you have to have some warm water and a slice of lemon as they do, before your bowels move, that's blockage. That's disorder. That means your body's not working to order. Your bowels should automatically open within 5 minutes of you waking up when the body's working to order. If it takes you half an hour or 1 hour, that's how out of range your body is. That's the beginning of sickness. Sickness begins right there. So people think, yeah, I go in the afternoon every day. That's sickness. Because you've got a lot of waste built up in your system that should have come out first thing in the morning. Now let's go back to the 3 o'clock. When you're waking up in the night to go to the toilet, it's because the body is working on the kidney and the bladder at that time. It's found a weakness because it wants to start putting the waste, into the bladder. But because this bladder hasn't had any water going through it during the day, every day for the last 10 years, the bladder's now got holes in it. It's now become very weak. Because the bladder is controlled by two muscles called the sphincter, the upper sphincter and the lower sphincter. If you don't exercise those muscles, they become weak. They can't carry water. So when the body puts the waste water, liquid, into the bladder, because the muscles are so weak, it says, I can't hold it. You've got to get up and go to the toilet. So how do we repair that? We get you to drink at least 5 litres of water a day. By putting 5 litres of water a day, people are smirking, like, what? But you don't realize you drank 5 litres. We do it with products. So you're taking products that each one requires at least a pint of water. So we're very creative. By drinking 5 litres of water, like, it's a lot more than your 1 litre, right? Is that a big jump from 1 litre to 5? This is the difference between sickness and health. It's called knowledge. See, when you know how much your body needs, or what your body needs, you're able to put it in place, and you'll restore order. Your body then repairs itself. 5 litres a day. What we're doing is we're strengthening that muscle, that bladder muscles, both of those muscles. We're putting them water through them. We're letting them go to the gym. They're going to the gym and they're strengthening the muscle. We've had so many client upon client, come to us with problems with their bladder, with problems with waking up in the night. They try to justify it by saying it's because I was drinking water before I went to bed. Why are you drinking water before you went to bed? Because you were thirsty. Why are you thirsty? Because you're dehydrated. So it comes back to the same thing. You're dehydrated because you haven't had enough water during the day. So the body has a demand for water because it knows it needs it. So we get you to drink at least 5 litres of water a day. By drinking that 5 litres, we've strengthened the muscle. And people think, how could this be possible that I've drank more water than ever before, but I'm waking up less in the night? Because the bladder's capacity has been strengthened. It's been increased. Does that make sense? So these are the things that we do with the hydration. Hydration is a key part of everything we do. The second one is elimination. It speaks for itself. We've got to get rid of the waste, because if you're not getting rid of the waste, that waste is backing up in your system and it's causing one plethora of problems after the other. It starts with the back pain. Elimination. We want to clear out all the gunk. We want to clear out all the waste. One of the foods that we find, I was having a discussion with my colleague the other day to do with food. I was doing a survey. I eat a lot of Caribbean food. I used to eat a lot of Caribbean food, should I say. I used to go to the Caribbean takeaway and I'd go into the shop and I'd look at the food. It looks really nice and very appetizing and well presented. And then I'd look at the person behind the till serving it. Not so nice, not so appetizing, not so well presented. Back doubled over in pain, face screwed up, wrinkles, all manner of not appetizing elements about their character. But more importantly, it's their physical demeanor. They don't look well. And I see it over and over and over again. I go to the African food shops. I look at the food. Very nice, very appetizing, very appealing. I look at the staff serving the food. Appetizing, appealing, looking decent. And I think, what is it about this food that's different from the Caribbean food? So we had a discussion. We said, so why is the Caribbean food and the African food, why do the people that are serving it look completely different? And we said, must be because of, well, he said because of the but he said the food is better. He said the Jamaican food is better. I said, no, it can't be, because the way the people look, they look worse. What's going on? So we started to analyze the food. And we said, okay, in the Africans, they've got a lot of vegetables, a lot of spinach, a lot of egusi, foods that are boiled. And they have a lot of palm oil. It's very oily. And we said, okay. And a lot of it is stews. We look at the Caribbean food. It's ackee and saltfish, it's fried chicken, it's fried dumpling, it's fried yam, it's fry. It's a lot of fried food. And we said, okay, so let's look at the differences between the two foods. They've got the boiled and the stew with the palm oil, and the fried and the fried. But then we said, what kind of oil are they using? And we said, they're using, what do they use? What oil do you use for cooking Caribbean food? Vegetable oil. Okay. You use olive oil. Fine. Most shops don't use olive oil. They use vegetable oil. So then we started to research, what is vegetable oil? When you look at vegetables, have you ever seen a vegetable called a vegetable? It's like calling an African an African. Every African has a part where they come from. They're either Zimbabwean, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Tanzanian. They have a place. They have a specific origin. Every vegetable has a specific character. It's a carrot. It's a mushroom. They have a specific name. So I've never seen a vegetable called vegetable. So then it leaves the question, what is vegetable oil? So therefore, this oil that they're calling vegetable oil, that they're frying this food in, is not even a natural oil. And it's used so much in the processing of this food. So if these people are using this oil that's not a natural oil and they're using so much of it on a daily basis, is there maybe a connection between why the people behind it look so tired and bent over and having so many ailments and pains and problems? Because of the oils. So we then started looking at the oils. I'm still doing the research on the oils now. So but what I found so far is that palm oil is a natural oil because it comes from a natural vegetable. It comes from the palm tree, from the palm kernel. It's a real oil. It's a heavily, highly saturated fat. It can handle heat. It's made in a hot environment. So it's used to heat. So frying it, it's not going to change its molecular structure that much. Coconut oil is a natural oil. It comes from a plant. It comes from a nut. It has its natural environment in the heat. It's used to hot environments. It's a highly saturated oil. A lot of Ghanaians make kelewele with the plantain and sweet potato with coconut oil. So when I looked at the different types of foods from the different nations, and I looked at the health of these different nations, I was able to relate their level of health to the food that they were eating. So if you're eating Caribbean food and you're frying it in vegetable oil, I'm here to tell you today, if you love yourself, you would not use that oil. It's not a real oil. Vegetable oil is not a real oil. Rapeseed oil is not a real oil. Corn oil, I've never seen corn produce oil in my life. Corn is not even a natural plant. So when you're using these oils in your food, you've got to be thinking, what is it doing to my body? It's not a natural oil, it's a processed oil, it's purely processed, so you don't know what it could be doing inside you. Palm oil, coconut oil, olive oil, so far. Olive oil shouldn't really be heated. In fact, no oil should be heated, because oil, when they're in their natural state, they are medicines. That's why the Mediterraneans drape their food in olive oil, in oils, because it's very medicinal, it's very healthy. It helps food to slide through your colon a lot easier. It helps things to come out the other side a lot quicker. The transit time is a lot shorter. It's got less time to hang around in the body and create the buildup of toxins. Olive oil, palm oil, coconut oil. We're still researching the oils, but these are things that people do on an everyday basis. So if you take nothing away from today, but you take away the fact that I'm not going to use vegetable oil anymore, then you might have just extended your life by maybe 10 years. Just on making that change. No more vegetable oil, no more corn oil, or carn oil, as they call it. I can't remember the name of them, but they're different brands. So, the jury's still out, we're still doing the research, and we will present our findings when we find it, the full analysis of the different oils, and there will be more oils to add to the list, but at the moment, corn oil, vegetable oil, they're on the no-go list. Rest. Most important element of what we do. Once you've got the hydration levels up, we've got the elimination channels open, we've got the bowels moving, we've got the colon, eliminating the waste, taking out a lot of the toxins, stopping the disease from forming. We've got to get you sleeping. Because if you're not sleeping, you're not healing. When babies are born, they spend 90% of their time sleeping. Why? Because while you're sleeping, your body's growing. Cells are dividing. Tissues are growing. You naturally rejuvenate your body while you're sleeping. I've heard of a lady who ate junk food every day. She worked in McDonald's. Ate crap every single day. Burgers, chips, fries, every day. But she never got sick. And I said, why is this woman never getting sick? So I started looking at her health profile. I said, what time do you go to bed? Oh, 9 o'clock. Okay. So that shows you can do 25 health-destroying things to your body, but one good thing, and be consistent doing that one good thing, and your body will repay you for it. Because she goes to bed every night at 9 o'clock, without fail, on the dot, every night, her body's able to experience the full rejuvenation cycle from 9 o'clock right through to 6 in the morning. So all that burgers and fries and apple pies were able to be processed out of her system with the adequate amount of time for it to not cause or do any damage. So sleep is a very important factor of what we do. So while we find a lot of people have problems with their sleep, one of it is because they're being interrupted because of their waking up in the night to go to the toilet, which we address in the first stage by increasing the hydration. 2 is because they're eating too late at night. We stop that by getting them to have their last meal. They only have 1 meal a day on the program. You don't need any more than that, because when you've had all that water and all the products we've given you, it's full of nutrients, it's full of natural nutrition in a natural state. Your body's not got to do any work overnight, because the biggest problem that people find is when they're eating late, when all the digestive enzymes have gone to sleep, the body's now left with this big delivery that it's got no staff to take in, to break down. So the digestive system is working overtime, trying to break this food down, which is going to keep you awake. So by eliminating all the food and taking out all the waste, the digestive system has had a good chance to rest. The body's able to rest uninterrupted throughout the night. So rest is a very important part of what we do, getting the body to sleep naturally. And if we can't get you to sleep naturally, we then have a product that we use, which is again a natural plant-based product that has all the natural ingredients, valerian, melissa, lemon balm, to really help the body to sleep naturally, but only while the body's restoring itself to enable it to sleep naturally on its own. The last one is nutrition, N. Some say nourishment, some say nutrition. Now everything is food. Rice is food, bread is food, chocolate is food, but not everything is nutrition. When the body receives food, the whole purpose of it receiving that food is because it wants to extract the vitamins, the minerals, and the nutrients. These are the parts that it uses to feed the cells, to feed the tissues, to regrow, to regenerate your body. By substituting food, which people have on a daily basis, sometimes 3 times a day, with pure nutrition, we allow the digestive system to rest. So it hasn't got to do any work during the day. So while the digestive system is not working, it's enabled it to regenerate itself and to effect some much needed repair. And how we do that is by fueling all the bare parts that the body needs direct into the bloodstream via a liquid diet. So that's why people don't feel hungry during the day. And as a result of that, the weight just falls off. The weight just drops off without even trying. We have so many people come to us, they've been to the personal trainer for, 6 weeks, trying to lose a stone, and they've lost about 2 pounds. And they come to us and we put them on a scan and we see the metabolism is in the red. That means the body is in fat storing mode. They say, I'm not letting go of fat, because if I let go of the fat, the organs are going to be exposed to all the toxins you're putting on a daily basis. So it keeps fat, just to keep the body protected. So by us detoxifying the body then realizes that it no longer needs to hold on to fat, because it doesn't need to protect itself, because it's received A, enough water to eliminate all the impurities, and B, it's getting adequate rest. So it has enough time to regenerate and rejuvenate itself. So the nutrition element is a very important part, because we help people to change their diet, change from eating food or seeing food as something you do as a recreational activity to seeing food as a fuel. Because food is fuel. When the body receives food, as far as it's concerned, you're giving it some raw materials that it's going to convert into energy. How many people in here drive? Okay, how many times a day do you put petrol in your car? You don't put petrol in your car every day? Why not? Once a week. Why don't you put petrol in your car every day? It will stall. Because it doesn't need it, right? Once you filled it up, it's got more than enough to do what it needs to do to get you to where you need to go on a daily basis. The car was built on the same basis as the human body. Everything that the body takes in, it's using it as fuel. It sees it as fuel. So if you take in a meal, the body sees it as fuel coming in. It says, okay, they're going to need some energy. Let's convert this fuel into energy so that they can use it and expend it. But the body doesn't come for the energy. You're not going to exercise. You're not using all the energy. You're not using all that fuel. Then the body says, okay, maybe they'll come for it later. So they'll store it as triglycerides. And when you're not coming for that triglycerides, it then just keeps it as fat. So if you didn't eat for a week, the brother said earlier on, the important part of healing is just fasting. If you didn't put any food in your body for a week, your body will just eliminate all toxins. I think he said 90% or 99% of diseases are healed just through fasting. So the body doesn't need 3 meals a day. It's not built to take 3 meals a day. It's not designed to receive 3 meals a day, because it doesn't need all that fuel. The same way you don't put fuel in your car 3 times a day, you don't need to put fuel in your body 3 times a day. 1 meal a day is more than enough. Because people are eating so many meals a day, and the body can't use it, this is where all disease starts. Because now those additional 2 meals that it doesn't need are being used to feed parasites, bacteria, toxins, asthma, hay fever, diabetes. And diabetes is not caused by sugar, it's caused by carbs that have not been broken down, have not been converted into energy. People think diabetes is caused by sugar. It's sugar diabetes, but it's not caused by sugar, it's caused by the carbs that the body can't break down. So where a lot of people are having or living a life based on a misunderstanding or misconception of the use of food, this is why we see a lot of people are having problems with their wellness linked to their diet. So in terms of delivering change, the first thing we want to impart to yourselves is the importance of loving yourself, self-love. Because once you start to develop self-love, you start to move away from self-destruction. The most people that we see have 1 or 5 of the elements linked to lack of self-love. And as a result of that, they're trying to compensate for what they don't have by eating or by feeding and feeding themselves foods that they would never feed to their worst enemy. But because it tastes nice, it feels like the best thing ever. So as you develop more love for yourself, you'll develop more of a disdain towards foods that are no good for you. What does the Bible say? It says you can't serve two masters, because you love one and you'll hate the other. The amount of people that we see that come with cancer and all these life-threatening, debilitating diseases. And the first thing we said to them, I saw a client, she had cancer five times, lost both her breasts. I asked her one question, I said, have you changed your diet in all that time? No. I still ate my yam, a banana, a dumpling. And I shook my head. I said, there's no help for this woman. She's beaten cancer 5 times, so as far as she's concerned, she's going to beat it the 6th time. She's lost both her breasts, maybe she'll lose her kidney next time. God knows. But because of this love of food, these debilitating diseases. So the more you start to develop a greater love for yourself, is the more you'll start to see food for what it actually really is. And it's the food, it's the oil. If you know now, you now know that vegetable oil is one of the worst foods you could put into your body. Not only because you don't know what it is, but because it's a processed substance. It's pure chemicals. That's why it's such a clear color. Any natural oil is never clear. Olive oil always has the smoke, the film in it because it comes from the seed. Coconut oil is very thick, saturated fat. So if you go from today and you put vegetable oil, you pour it in the pot, and you cut your onions, and you put it in there, and you slice your peppers, and you know that oil, that vegetable oil is no good for you. It's going to cause poisons in your body. That's a clear sign that you don't love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you would not knowingly do something that's going to damage yourself. So the last one I leave with you is our message is to help you develop more self-love. It's to start changing your environment. Because as you change your environment, you then change your life. By changing your environment, you change your life. By changing your internal environment, you change your life. By changing your external environment, you change your situation. There's sometimes people have people around them that you know are no good for you, but you still entertain them. This is part of that detoxification process. By loving yourself, you know that you wouldn't subject yourself to being around certain people. Their energy is negative. Their speech is very toxic. That speech goes into you on a daily basis. As you keep subjecting yourself to it, you can see it like taking in vegetable oil. It's poison. You know they're poison. I've had poisonous people around me. I've had to detoxify myself from them and create some distance. Why? Because I need to love myself. I need to spend more time with myself. I need to spend time away from people that are toxic to my body, toxic to my mind, toxic to my thoughts. So the message for today is change your environment, change your life, and then a new door, it stands open before you. Have any of you seen that lady, Annette Larkin? You seen her? She's a 70-year-old lady, or I think she's 73 or 74 years old now. She doesn't look a day over 35. She's got a size 6 waist. Perfect figure, hourglass. No wrinkles in her skin. Her skin just looks so smooth. She's 74 years young. Her husband is the same age as her, but he looks like about 120. Look her up on YouTube, Annette Larkin. The difference between her and her husband, she decided to change her environment. She decided to change her food. She changed her diet from meat, flesh, dead animals, rice, to a pure plant-based diet. And she now gone to the extreme of growing her own food. And the good thing I like about Annette Larkin, she didn't start living that way. She didn't grow up in that kind of environment. She started at the age of 45. That's not too different or far from most of the people in here. I'm 60. But it shows that even at a late stage in your life, you can still make the right changes and, turn things around to how you want them to be. 44 years old she started. Annette Larkin, look her up. So, once you change your environment, you change your life, you embark on a new road, a new journey, we're here to help you to do that. We have our practitioners here, we have our consultants here, we have our support team here. This hopefully should be you. So we're looking at Annette Larkin. Having a new lease of life, having a new breath of life, having a new inner vision, having a new mindset, having a new approach, having a new thought process. Free from toxins, free from toxic people, free from vegetable oil. That's the first thing I'm going to leave out. Start to research. Start to look at the foods that you're eating. Look at what they're made, where they're coming from, what they're made from, what's in them as a starting point. But the key, as I said from the beginning, is loving yourself. That's the end of my presentation. My name is Aaron Warden. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think they're going to have an official session afterwards, and I think I've got a few scans that are booked in. But our website is gojuicedetox.com. Our Facebook is the same, Go Juice Detox. Our Twitter is Go Juice Detox. And our YouTube channel, where you see a lot of our testimonials, and hopefully you'll see this presentation, will also be on there, the same name, Go Juice Detox. Alrighty, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.